Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, act like you know. It's going down. I'm your captain. It's going down. I'm your captain. It's going down.
Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to another episode of TerrorCrave. We are your hosts. I am Lee, and with me, as always, is my man Jason. What's up, Jason? How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Lee. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastically well. And before I forget, Alice, hello to you. Thank you for joining us. All right. No words from her. All right, that's okay.
No, quiet again.
Quiet again. We'll save it for later then. No, man, I'm excited to be back. We took a little bit of break for the 4th of July holiday, but we are back and we've got a fantastic episode lined up. Jason, what are we talking about tonight?
We're going to talk about Fear Street, man. I've been waiting for this a long time, man. I love R.L. Stein.
Yeah, man, and it's quite a bit of a different thing from R.L. Stein. You
Yeah,
know, a lot of people, especially recently, everybody's familiar with Goosebumps, and they were pretty terrifying for Saturday morning show. They really were. You know, a lot of them were pretty creepy. But Fear Street has taken R.L. Stein into another level, man. These are straight, hardcore, R-rated films, and I love the strategy that Netflix is doing with this.
Yeah,
You know, I think that we're getting close to a 2-hour film every week here for the next 3 weeks. So we've already had 2, and we've got one more coming up here this Friday, man, part 3. But man, I've really been enjoying them. They're fantastic. Did you read any of the Fear Street stuff?
I didn't.
No?
I was going to ask you, and I didn't know if the actual books, if we're following the books right now with like book 1, book 2, book 3. I don't know how many books there were. Was it like Goosebumps, the stories, or?
You know, I'm not actually, I should have done some research, I guess, before the show, but I actually don't know. I think these are, maybe I'm wrong, but I think Fear Street is like the Goosebumps. Fear Street's the title.
Yeah.
Right?
It's still
And
Goosebumps, Fear Street. But I think it was made more for...
No, I think Fear Street is the title. Right?
Not Goosebumps?
I don't think it's Goosebumps. I
Okay.
think Fear Street is its own little thing of books that were geared, towards the teenage audience.
So it's not just like a instead of doing one story at a time, he did like an anthology of or something over here.
Yeah, and Fear Street is Fear Street is the actual, how there's Goosebumps and then there's multiple titles that come under Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Fear Street is a thing. There's multiple titles under Fear Street.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it is. And I think it's just, so it's like if Goosebumps did, it would be Goosebumps and then the Praying Mantis Librarian, whatever it was. You know what I mean? Or something like that. I remember there was maybe an episode like that. But
so I guess he must have written them for older teenagers. And
he did.
Judging by these movies, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'd be fine with like my 16-year-old reading something like that. I don't know. I'd still feel awkward. They're almost 19 now. I feel awkward watching any kind of like nudity stuff with them.
Right. No, I feel you on that. No, I think even though this was geared, the books, of course, are geared towards the teenage audience. They were never this graphic. So what they've done is just levitated it or elevated it, I should say, into more of the R-rated genre, and it's been really well received. I think critics have been really loving it. I know. I think the audience scores a little hit or miss, but I think people really love part 2. We're going to get into the movies, but just. I think people. I don't know.
We're doing something special because we knew that a bunch of people were going to be reviewing like part 1 and then part 2. We said nope, we're going to do part 1 and 2 together.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Talk about both the films. We're talking about 1994 and then 1978.
Yeah.
What were your initial thoughts, Jason?
When it first came on, as soon as I saw the girl give the customer the middle finger. Like, ooh, Goosebumps has bumped it up a notch. And then 9 Inch Nails song Closer started playing. And I was like, oh, we're going here now. I got you now. So now we're building up a little bit. And I was like, because that's a pretty provocative song, man.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I love the music throughout this whole thing so far. I've loved the music, man. It really takes you back, and it's good songs. But as soon as they started playing that, and then the first kill, I was like, "This is good. This is good," because you have that Goosebumps feeling, or Goosebumps feel You know, like you're watching a Goosebumps movie, the way that it's written, the way it's filmed, it's just like the old Goosebumps show.
Yeah.
But you have the adult content, and I
Oh
like
yeah.
that. The first kill was great, man. What do you think of that?
The first kill was awesome. A couple things I have on that first scene, the first kill scene. I loved that. Well, first, I love it was took place in the bookstore, so
Yeah.
we got to see all these cool books that were out in the '90s or what have you. You know, as they kind of walked out, you know, took us down the aisles. But they
Mm-hmm.
did focus on the Fear Street novels at one point, as they were going down. So I thought that was kind of cool. You know, we
Yeah.
got to see quite a few of them as
Yeah.
in there. I love the fact this is very reminiscent of Scream to
Yep.
me, because they took a recognizable actress, Maya Hawke, who became pretty well known in the Stranger Things TV
Yeah.
show in
Yeah.
season 3. She worked with Steve in the ice cream parlor.
Yeah.
She's also the daughter of Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman. You
Oh, I
know,
didn't know that.
so
That's
yeah,
wow.
she's their daughter.
No wonder she
So
got the
that's so
part. No,
she was also in well, I think she was also in the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She was one of the killers, the Manson killers that were coming in to
oh,
Sharon Tate at the end. So
I'll
she's
have to
kind
look
of
back
getting,
at that now.
yeah. So her career is coming up there. So you know, you see and she was actually first billed when the movie came on. So you're like, oh, you know. So they took a pretty recognizable actress, I think, out of all of that, out of the whole
Yeah.
episode 1, and
Yeah.
she gets killed right there in the first like 7 minutes. You know. Oh, by the way, this is a spoiler-filled review, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
should have said that at the beginning. She gets killed right at the beginning. So I love that it was kind of harkens back, you know, takes place in 1994, what Scream was out in the mid 90s around
Yeah.
that time.
It
So it was
looked
kind
like
of
that
cool that it
scene.
alluded to that. Yeah, it totally did.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was really well done, like you said, that it was a lot of cool things. And that you already talked about the 90s soundtrack, man. It was almost like without music in the very first 20 minutes. It was just like song
Yeah.
after song from scene to scene. It was just like all these awesome tunes from the 90s. So I was really digging that. I loved
Well,
it.
and it made me feel better because with the movie we're doing, Joe, the way that I kind of envision it is like songs like that. Every scene has a song.
Yeah.
You know, and it could be different, but there's a lot of times it went way different from a good happy song to all, you know, like, oh, but it's still a good song, you know. And
Yeah.
I really like that about both of the
Yeah.
part 1 and 2.
Yeah. Once we get into 78, they had this classic 70s tunes, man. Carry On My Wayward Son. That was
Yeah.
awesome. I love the use of that. But
Yeah.
we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But I will say that once that scene was over, and I told you about this already a little bit, I kind of was taken aback at first, just by the tone of it. And again, you guys have heard me talk. I love a good horror comedy. I do. I think
Yeah.
I was just surprised by it because the previews, the trailers gave no hint of that to me.
It was
You
like
know what I
watching
mean?
Goosebumps.
Yeah, I
You know what I
guess.
mean? It was
Yeah.
like watching especially with her brother. I guess you would say the main star's brother, that, you know, he's sitting there at the computer, and, you know, of course we're back in the 90s, and
I
you
loved
know,
about how much air will cost and all this
yeah,
stuff. And
yeah,
that was really cool. I loved all that
yeah.
discussion.
But the way he started describing the witch theory and all that, it was very much like how a Goosebumps show would have been. Just the
Right.
camera angles, everything like that. And I liked that because I really enjoyed Goosebumps. But like you're saying, I thought we were going, you know, straight into a horror movie, but it was, you know, it was kind of very PG-ish at times, and then sometimes not as much.
So hard R, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So I once I got past that though, and we got into the film, you know, because it was
Yeah.
just all these little things that were taking me out of it at first, like the care, like when the girl was laying in the bus and people came up driving behind her real fast, and then it was like I just thought, wait, that shot took. I was like, what is going on here? You know what I mean? It was like the close up of her and
Yeah.
them driving real fast. But once we got past that, I think, you know, once we got all past all of that and the car accident happens, then the
Yeah.
movie took off for me. It started to take off
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. And I would call this series a nostalgia horror movie,
Yeah.
because it does have, I liked the parts that were like Goosebumps, and, you know, I don't know, I'm kind of mixed, I guess, on my review, because I did like the way that they kept it with Goosebumps, but I also wanted to see you know, the way they had advertised it, like this was a full-on horror movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But and don't get me wrong, it's good. It's good.
It is good.
Do you
And
like the story behind it so far?
I do. I'm curious as to where it's going to go. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I do think that, I mean, I'm kind of jumping all over the place here myself, but I believe Sarah Fane might not be quite the witch. I think somebody else might be behind. I think Sarah Fane is getting the, I don't know. I think
Oh,
she may be, I don't know. I've got some theories. You know what I mean? I think
yeah.
maybe it's
You're
not
thinking
quite
back like
her.
how Salem witch trials were. Is
Yeah,
that
you
what you're
know what I
thinking?
mean? I'm thinking that, and maybe somebody else was behind it, and I don't
Huh.
know. And then I don't know, but I do like the story behind it. I love how we're being taken back through time to get more of the history.
Yeah.
And I do like how I think I was surprised also. Um, I really thought they had cured Sam, you know, for how they had broken the curse, and I thought something else was, or I thought we'd just see part of the '78 story. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Like it
I
was
will.
gonna be separate from this one.
No, I don't know. I knew it would tie into it somehow. I just didn't. I
Yeah.
guess. I guess I'm just surprised that. Well, I'm not surprised. I'm actually liking the fact that the stories are still ongoing. You know, even when we get into part two, I'll talk about how it was bookended
Right.
by part. You know, the characters from part one. You know, from part one, how they carried over and stuff like that.
Right.
Um, I thought the kills were pretty grisly in part one. Well, most of them. Well, especially one. I mean, not really. I
The
guess not
bread
most of them.
slicer.
Oh my gosh, that was
Yeah.
horrible. That
I
was
think that was I
horrible.
was gonna say that's definitely my favorite kill so far.
Yeah. But but I thought the characters. I liked the characters. I thought it was very. I love how the so quote unquote heroes of the film, or some of them at least, are then at the end of the movie have the murders pinned on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's. I mean, I
Yeah.
liked it because it wasn't quite of a happy ending. You know what I mean? For those guys, they already died, and now they're getting all the murders pinned on them, and they didn't do a damn thing except for try to save old Sam. You know what I mean?
Well, I thought kind of the same as you as far as with part two. I thought in the first one they were going to show how it happened in '94, and before the very end of it, before the phone call at the end, I thought it was like, oh, well, you know, now they're going to show us who the killer was and all that
Yeah,
in '78, and then they're going to go all the way back to 1666 and show us
mhm,
who the killer. But yeah, it's cool how they went into the second one with
yeah,
it. And
yeah,
I I like the one with '78 too. They pay so much homage to the other horror movies, man. Like one scene in the second one, they have Friday the 13th music playing.
yeah.
You know what I
Um,
mean?
well, since we're moving into '78, let me just say that one to me was the superior film. I enjoyed '78 much more than I mean, I enjoyed '94. I actually did. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
But I thought '78 was more of the tone of the film that I thought we were going into with '94. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't as, and again, I love a good horror comedy, but I was just prepared for this to be a straight horror, you
Right.
know, and you can definitely have moments of levity in a horror film.
Yeah.
And '78 has moments of levity without being like total, you know what I mean? I don't know, just jokey joke like the first one was to me. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that. That's just how I felt.
I
But
yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I think part two is more what I imagined the films or the each one was going to be like.
yeah,
The first one to me was kind of campy as
yeah,
far as like it really just it was almost like a 50-50 blend of Goosebumps, the TV show we used to watch, and them doing an attempt at a horror movie.
mhm,
And the kills were really good. I like some of the good violent stuff. The some of the story to me was kind of off, but
and
I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed the first one. With,
yeah. And I like that we're seeing how, like, you don't realize in the part one of '94, I guess, that this killer, the guy who's killing, is now going to be part of her army of
yeah,
murderers. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So you get to see this, not just him come back, of course, but then you're seeing
the girl,
Nighthawk, no, or Nightwing,
Nightwing.
the
Yeah, that's right.
Nightwing killer, right? And then so '78 shows us exactly how he came to be and how he was got the thing around the burlap sack around his face and all of that. But you know, go back to '78 again. I did like that because all the shout outs to Friday 13th. There was some sleepaway camp stuff in there, as well. That was with the porta potty, I think, really coming out of the, because that's when that one girl was I don't know if you remember that or not, but sleepaway camp 2, maybe somebody was stuffed in the porta potty. It's been a long time.
I don't know. Those movies were kind of like soft porn to me. I didn't really
say about me, man. No, but so there's just so many cool little throwbacks, and that's when you and I guess, we're aging ourselves as we always do, but that's when I really came up with horror.
Yeah.
Around some of those early 80s and 70s type of,
which were good then, but
movies.
they're kind of cheesy now if you go back and watch them, but they were cool back then in the 80s.
Yeah, for sure. But so I love all the different homages to that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To that. I love the cast in this one too. Sadie Sink, another Stranger Things girl.
Yeah.
I love how they're picking people from, it seems like there was quite a few people from Netflix that kind of keep as in their little cabal of or arsenal of actors, you know what I mean? They're true. Who
plays the little brother? Is he like a Nickelodeon kid or a Disney kid or something?
He was in a show called The Haunted Hathaways back in the day. He was also in a Netflix movie that came out maybe 2 years ago called Rim of the World. That was about an alien invasion.
I just remembered him from some like TV show thing.
I think it was Haunted Hathaways that you maybe if you guys were watching that back. That would probably be when your boys were coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he just looked familiar when I saw him.
Yeah, so he's been in a couple things. Rim of the World was one of the more recent things that I've seen him in. But yeah, he's I did like him. I did like his character, and I was kind of glad to pull through.
I felt bad for him at the end of the first one.
I know, right? He's getting with that girl Kat, and she's showing him some attention, and then and then she's gone. I also think that this person that he's typing to might come back into the play somehow.
He's got to.
You know what I mean?
Do you think it's
the other end? Maybe it's somebody, I don't know, it's a girl or a guy, but whoever it is, I think somehow will be tied into this film. Maybe not. But
if it's a guy, it's catfishing, and I think that's a little bit too far. No,
exactly.
Watch it be like R.L. Stein.
Jack Black is gonna be Jack Black.
Oh, no.
And the Jack from the Goosebumps films.
Yeah,
but maybe. But no. So let me ask you a question. Going to 78, was there any doubt in your mind who oh my gosh, Jillian, what is her name? Jillian Jacobs played C. Berman. Now, in the movie, Cindy Berman and Ziggy Berman, you know what I mean? Did you think that the girl telling the story, did you know which sister she was?
I kind of pegged that. And one thing that bothered me, though, is I couldn't tell if the adult Ziggy was, I couldn't tell if she had blue eyes. It looked like she had brown eyes, which as soon as I saw that, I was like, well, maybe it's not, because they've got this kid from Stranger Things. Well, I shouldn't say kid. She's probably, I don't know, by now 20 years old, but she's got like really blue eyes and the reddish hair, which the hair you can change, but I swear I thought the adult version of her had brown eyes. Maybe she was just in the dark and couldn't see them as well. So because that would make me mad if, you know what I mean? Because you can change her off, yeah, unless it's like I put her because everybody thought she was the sister or whatever.
Yeah. Did you? So you pegged it. You knew it was going to be Ziggy.
I just kind of figured that's what was going to happen.
Me too.
Because she was like, however many years ago, I lost my sister on this. You know what I mean? I was like, it's going to be a switcheroo.
Yeah, and which I thought was a nice little play on that too, because we all know the heroine of these films is the virginal girl, the good girl who doesn't smoke pot, who doesn't drink. She's always the final girl.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Always. And so it was a nice little switch. It kind of, I guess they tried to pull the rug out from under us.
Yeah,
the best they could.
Yeah.
The final girl is actually the bad girl, so to speak.
Yeah, and I was a little bit, nervous there. I thought my theory was shot when they were both laying there dead, and I said, "Oh man!" I said one of them's going to come back, but I was like, "Well, it ain't going to be her the way that she died." I was like, "Daggone!" I mean, this one over here, even the way Ziggy died, I was like, I don't know if it's going to be her. I don't know. I guess she could come back, but I know she's not coming back.
I know, man, because that hatchet to the chest over and over again.
Over and over again. I can see like one hit, maybe she lived or whatever. And then As soon as he hit her like the second or third time, I was like, yeah, my theory's right. I'm good.
Right.
There ain't no way she was coming back from that.
Yeah. What I also didn't like about, I will say, because again, 78 was my favorite, but the Sheila bad girl, we never really see what happens to her. You know, she got punched out in the outhouse by Ziggy when she was attacking her after they jumped when Ziggy went back to go save her or whatever to let her out of the outhouse.
Yeah.
She gets punched out. And then the scenes, everybody runs to the outhouse because the guy comes in and starts killing people. We never really see what happens to her. So anyway, that was just something I noticed. We don't see her live or die.
Did he leave or did he stay there for a minute and then?
He came after Ziggy. After he chopped that one dude's head off and it fell down the toilet. His body fell down the toilet. What I will say about 78 also is they had no problem killing children in this movie.
No. And that used to be a big taboo, man, when we were coming up.
Well, in the 70s, or not, I keep saying the 70s, but in these movies that was kind of playing off of, the counselors were the ones being killed.
Right.
It was never a kid.
He never bothered the kids.
No. I guess
I say
Jason
he
was
because
after.
Jason
was after.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, he was after the counselors for letting them drown. But man, when that poor little kid, the one dude with the glasses on, I guess the stereotypical nerd or whatever, you know what I mean? And
you said it, not me.
I mean, that's what they were trying to, he was
Wait a minute.
No, I wear glasses too, man. That's not what I'm saying. He got killed. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
They are holding no punches or pulling no punches with this one.
Then he took out like 3 or more in the one spot. Like, dang on, man. I swear, I think the first kid that I saw get killed in a film was probably in Pet Sematary. And I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Because
he got killed by a truck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess
not by a killer, but I will say the first movie I saw kids getting killed in was Mimic. Mimic, those 2 little kids who were investigating the sewers. And next thing you know, that little thing killed those things. I was like, good gosh. I was like, I've never seen anything like that. Kids usually get out, but unless they're killed by a car, or the killer doesn't usually,
something like that. Yeah.
Usually get them. But I was like, damn, I guess this is going to be different. Anyway, moving back to that was 20 years ago, Mimic or whatever. But no, this one they held pulled no punches. They or held no hatchets.
One thing that bothered me is I kept wondering, I said, well, is that a burlap sack? I said, because it's like, if so, I guess it's kind of like molded to his face while he was dead or something. But it almost looked like strapping. And I was like, I know they're not going to go all the way with like the Friday the 13th like sack over the head or whatever. But when they especially when he was running with the axe, I was like, oh man, we're getting way Friday the 13th now.
Yeah.
But I thought they had strips of, like, he wrapped himself with strips of burlap instead of an actual sack, the way it was real tight to his face. And it did and it disappointed me, like when she put the sack over his head and was like choking him out, and when he jumped up, all of a sudden it was formed to his face, and that kind of bothered me. That I was like, there's no way that it was stuck to his face.
Right.
But he was a good killer. He was a good killer.
He did his job really well. He performed just, and it was graphic. Like I said, there'd be just chunks of bodies or pieces of bodies laying all over. I mean, he didn't just he wouldn't just like, I don't remember, Jason would just maybe get you. You know what I mean? Chop you in the head.
Only take one time.
Yeah, he was like, wow. I mean, just over it. The axe, and that one girl who would, again, bad girl who had just been fornicating and then smoking the ganja. Right after she was done with that, she got smacked in the face a couple times with the hatchet. It was like, damn. It was just crazy, man.
Well, the one guy, he hit him 3 times in the head, like split his head like 3 times, man. And
in the very beginning, that was horrible too. It was so they did a good job with the violence and the graphics.
He's twisted.
If you're looking for that, no, but it was, but I also don't, and maybe they'll go back and explain it. We know why, and maybe it hasn't been explained yet. We don't know how Tommy Slater, why he was chosen, or people just randomly chosen.
They didn't say how the killer at the beginning of part 1 was chosen.
No, I guess they don't.
That's what I was wondering that too. They had to have been near the bones or something, or
Well,
maybe he was
come to
near the
find out,
tree.
that one boy was, because he was
Oh,
in
he
the
was at the
mall.
mall. Yeah.
Come
Okay,
to
I
find
got you.
out, the hand was buried in the mall, right
Yeah.
around where the killing happened. So
Yeah, that solves that one. And I
but I
mean,
mean,
Tommy just being, they were over top of her, well, they were close to the body. Maybe he got out to where she was buried or whatever. That wasn't too far from the camp, but the
right.
whole layer and everything underneath, I guess she could possess who she wanted to over top of all
Yeah.
those caverns.
So maybe it wasn't, she just, poor Tommy was just chosen. And then the nurse, Nurse Moore, I can't remember her name. But anyway, the nurse, I guess, randomly come, investigating. I like how the nurse was the mother of the one girl who was in the street in part one who tried to
Yeah.
kill, the
Yeah.
boy in that color. So I do like how we're seeing, they're taking
Yeah.
us back and introducing us to these cool characters.
I want to see that little boy with that
Oh
mask.
boy,
Man.
yeah, I think we'll see
I would
him.
love to see that, like where he came from.
Yeah, I don't know if that's 66 or 1666, or maybe we'll get more than just. I think 1666 is actually going to be the scariest one, just based
Yeah.
on the trailer that they showed us. Those,
Well, I love witches, man, and the creepier they are, the better.
Yeah, and I don't see how there's going to be comedy in this one. Maybe there will be. I don't know, but I just feel like this one. I think this one's just going to be. I don't know. It's going to be scary to me.
Well, were you surprised the way that part 2 went off?
Yes.
Yeah, I was too. I didn't know that was going to happen.
For her to be transported back and I guess embodying, and it's going to relive all of the stuff that happened back then.
Maybe she's her reincarnated, or who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. Well, but no, it's going to be. I'm really, and again, I really enjoy these films. I love the fact that we're getting a nice little trilogy of films each week.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it hasn't let me down yet. I can't wait to see part 3.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. So I guess, what did you give them at the end? We talked about it. What would you give each film?
Out of 5 or out of 10? We'll go out of 10. Well,
10, okay.
Might want to give me a 10 so I can get like a decimal point in there. Part 1, I'd give it a 7.5. And I guess for part 2, I'd give probably an 8.
That's I won't give it 7.5. I was just move 7 and 8. I'll just say 70, 94 with a 7, and then going with that 78 with the 8. That's what.
Yeah, maybe the next one we'll get 10s out of this.
I really do feel like it's going to be more terrifying. I hope so. Back in those times in the not colonial, but the Puritan or whatever it is times, just
they were crazy anyway, man.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. And I like how we're going to see a lot of the actors from both films playing characters back then, what I mean?
That'd be pretty nice.
Yeah,
well, they probably have ran out of money in the budget and just like, hey, you mind picking up this part? And
yeah, for sure. What do you think was the worst death? We talked about the worst death in 94. What was the worst death in 78?
I think the one that I think so, where he hit the head like 3 times, and they showed like each time like, oh
yeah, they did show it. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And I did like how in 78, there's a classic scene in Deep Blue Sea when Samuel Jackson does this fantastic speech about, we're going to do this, we're going to get out of here. And then all of a sudden the shark jumps out and goes gets him and eats him up. And I knew when old girl, was her name Alice? Her girl with the short hair, when she was giving her speech, I want to do this for Tommy. I want to do this for, her boyfriend. And I'm going to do this for Shady Side. We're going to do it. And the next
it's coming. If I ever start that, like if we're somewhere like that and I start doing that, just say, stop. Just let's go. Let's go.
Exactly. Yeah, I knew it was like, I'd look at the city. I was like, here we go. She's done. She is done.
Yeah.
Now.
You're not a main player.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, man, very good. It sounds like we both really enjoyed it. We both look forward to seeing part 3. Look forward to our review with part 3, because we'll definitely be talking about that one. Next week on our next show as well. Man, I think we've said it all, Jason. Anything else?
I think so. Hey, I think we're gonna try to go live next week. We'll see. We're thinking about going live. So if we do, we'll put it out there. We'll say when we are, and all that. I don't know.
Yeah,
If
come
we
check
can
us
work
out
our
when we do
nerves
that.
off, we'll be good.
Yeah, come check us out, unfiltered,
Yeah.
stumbling all over our words and everything else like that. No, it's going to be fun, I think. We'd love to
Yeah.
have you guys interact with us in real time, talk to us about your thoughts, let us know your
Get
thoughts on whatever
to
we're talking about.
yeah, get to meet the real Lee Lawson, like I know him.
Oh, those blooper tapes will be fun to watch. But you come see us do bloopers in real time. Yeah, that'll be
Yeah, yeah. That'll
cool.
work. Great
Cool,
show,
man.
man.
Yeah, man, fantastic as always. I enjoyed it. Alice, thank you very much for your participation. We really do appreciate it. Again, like I said before, let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you want to see on the next episode. We are going to talk about part 3. We can incorporate anything else in there as well. Check us out on Spotify, also YouTube, wherever you like to listen to us.
Twitter, anywhere.
Twitter, yep.
Except Twitch.
Yeah.
No.
As of yet, we'll be there soon, maybe one day.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe. Yeah.
All right, my guys. It's been a pleasure, everyone. Jason, thank you very much, man.
No problem. See you next time, Lee.
All right, dude. Peace.